Hello everyone, this is Amal Roy and welcome to a fresh episode of Soccer Stories. Germany hosted the World Cup in 2006, but for the first time as a unified nation. This was the second World Cup to be played on German soil after West Germany hosted the event in 1974. Germany was awarded the hosting rights in 2000 at the FIFA executive meeting, and it was for the 10th time that the FIFA's flagship event was held in Europe. Germany, South Africa, England and Morocco contested for the rights to host the 2006 World Cup. After 3 rounds of voting, Germany edged out South Africa 12-11 to win the bid. The German bid was marred by controversy and allegations of bribery to influence some members of the FIFA Executive Committee. 198 countries took part in the qualifiers. Angola, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Togo, Trinidad and Tobago, Czech Republic, Ukraine and Serbia and Montenegro made their World Cup debut. It was also the last World Cup in which Serbia and Montenegro took part as a sovereign nation. They had previously taken part in 1998 as Yugoslavia. A month before the World Cup was to begin, Montenegro voted for a referendum to become an independent nation. Serbia accepted the result in June, but time constraints forced FIFA to allow Serbia and Montenegro to play as one nation, making it the first instance of 2 sovereign nations competing as one nation in a FIFA event. Australia qualified for the World Cup after 32 years, but there were few notable absentees. Turkey, the third place team of the 2002 World Cup, Nigeria, Cameroon, South Africa, Denmark and Belgium. Greece, the surprise 2004 Eurocup champions, also failed to qualify. The 2006 World Cup saw a deviation from tradition, and it was not the defending champion but the host Germany which figured in the opening match of the event. Germany, the seeded team in Group A, played Costa Rica. The high-paced encounter saw 6 goals, with the Germans winning 4-2, and it was the highest goal tally for an opening match in the history of the World Cup. Drawn in a relatively weak group, the Germans won all their matches to qualify for the second round. Ecuador, with wins over Costa Rica and Poland, qualified as the second best team from the group. In Group B, England and Sweden scored identical 1-0 wins over Paraguay, but Trinidad and Tobago held the mighty Sweden to a goalless draw to earn all-round praise. The match between the bigwigs England and Sweden ended in a 2-2 draw, and both the countries qualified for the knockout round. England topped the group while Sweden came second. Group C saw Argentina and Netherlands grouped along with Ivory Coast and Serbia and Montenegro. Argentina was under Jose Pekerman, who schooled the golden era of youth footballers. Majority of Pekerman's junior trainees had graduated to the national team and were in the World Cup squad. The South Americans started with a 2-1 win over Ivory Coast in Hamburg. But it was against Serbia and Montenegro that saw Argentinians in full flow. They hammered half a dozen goals against Serbia, and highlight was a sequence of 25 passes that culminated in the second goal by Esteban Cambiaso. The South Americans settled for a goalless draw against Netherlands to top the group on goal average. Netherlands scored a solitary goal win over Serbia and Montenegro and then beat Ivory Coast 2-1 to finish second in the group. The Euro 2004 runners-up Portugal cruised through from Group D, winning all their matches. The African debutants Angola proved to be no pushovers, and in their opening match restricted Portugal to a solitary goal win in their opening match. After beating Iran 2-0, Portugal prevailed over Mexico 2-1 to top the group. Mexico beat a profligate Iran 2-0 to finish second in the group. Angola ended their campaign with draws against Mexico and Iran. World Cup debutants Ghana sprung a surprise in Pool E by qualifying for the knockout ahead of United States, the quarter-finalist of 2002, and Czech Republic. Playing for the first time on a world stage, the Africans threw predictions out of the window to score wins over both the USA and Czech Republic and finished second in the group behind Italy. The Italians, after a disappointing Euro 2004, were the seeded team in the group and they beat the Africans 2-0 to start the campaign on an impressive note. USA, after the disappointing 0-3 loss to the Czechs, bounced back by holding Italy 1-1. However, Italy only needed a draw against the Czechs to qualify, but they won 2-0 and topped the group. The Czechs were a man down when Jan Pollock was sent off for his second yellow card offence. Italy used the numerical advantage to beat Czech Republic comfortably. Ghana created history by beating the United States 2-1 to qualify as a second-place team. France, the eventual finalist, didn't have a great start to the tournament. They were held to draws by Switzerland and South Korea, but the 2-0 win over debutants Togo was enough for them to qualify behind the Swiss. Switzerland won 2-0 at Hanover. The South Koreans, the semi-finalists of 2002, were eliminated in the first round. Spain kept an all-win record in a relatively weak Group H to qualify. Spain crushed Ukraine 4-0, beat Tunisia 3-1 and Saudi Arabia 1-0. Ukraine finished second after scoring wins over Tunisia and Saudi Arabia. A Lukas Podolski brace for the home team within the first 15 minutes shut out Sweden in the pre-quarterfinals. Argentina was made to sweat by Mexico before winning 2-1 in extra time. The Swiss bowed to Ukraine in a match which was decided on penalties. Brazil ended Ghana's dream run with a crushing 3-0 win, while England ended Angola's run with a 1-0 win. Elsewhere, France beat Spain 3-1 through two late goals, while Italy edged out Australia by Totti's injury time goal. Portugal also qualified with a 1-0 win over Netherlands. Host Germany faced off the mighty Argentinians in the round of last 8 at the Olympia Stadium in Berlin. After a goalless first half, Argentina surged ahead in the 49th minute through an Ayala goal, but Argentina's unhurried approach in the closing stages of the match turned out to be its undoing. Germany attacked with verve and found an equalizer through Klose in the 80th minute. The extra time failed to produce any goals and the match went on to penalties. German goalkeeper Jens Lehmann stopped shots from Ayala and Esteban Cambiaso for a 4-2 win. It was for the first time that Argentina lost a shootout in the World Cup. Defending champions Brazil bowed out of the tournament, losing to a Zidane-inspired French. The midfielder curled in a free kick which found an unmarked Thierry Henry, who headed in the match winner in the 57th minute. Ukraine's dream run ended against Italians, who peaked at the right time. Luca Toni scored a brace as the Italians won 3-0. The England-Portugal match went to penalties and England lost yet another shootout 1-3 in the World Cup. With both Argentina and Brazil losing in the quarterfinals, it was an all-European semi-final lineup for the first time in 24 years. The Italy-Germany semi-final was intense with both sides wasting chances during regular time. Lukas Podolski couldn't beat Gianluigi Buffon, while Italy's Alberto Gilardino and Zambrotta hit the woodwork. But Fabio Grosso chose his moment of glory in the 119th minute as he curled an unstoppable ball around the desperate dive of Jens Lehmann. Not long after the restart, Italy broke again and scored through Del Piero. There wasn't any drama in the France-Portugal semi-final. The French weren't dominant, but they earned a penalty when Portuguese defender Ricardo Carvalho was brought in a tangle with Thierry Henry inside the box. Zinedine Zidane stepped in to take the penalty and scored, which turned out to be the match winner. Before we talk about the final, don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel Striking Seconds. The final in Berlin started at a hectic pace with both teams trading a goal apiece in the first 20 minutes. The French won a penalty when Florent Malodua was brought down by Marco Materazzi. Zinedine Zidane opened the scoring from the spot. Materazzi redeemed himself when he headed in the equalizer from an Andre Pirlo corner. Luca Toni struck the crosspiece in the 35th minute. The French had more of the possession early in the second half, but the Italians came back to create chances. After 90 minutes of regulation time, the scores were still level at 1-1, forcing the match into extra time. Buffon tipped over a Zidane header in the 104th minute for a game-saving save. 5 minutes later, Materazzi exchanged words with Zidane in what turned out to be an ugly brawl. A provoked Zidane headbutted Materazzi on his chest to knock the latter down. Zidane was shown a red card and he became the 4th player to be red carded in a World Cup final. The extra time also failed to break the deadlock and the match went into shootout. France's David Trezeguet hit the crosspiece and was the only player to fluff his kick in the shootout. Italy won their 4th World Cup and first one after 24 years. Host Germany had the consolation of finishing 3rd, defeating Portugal 3-1 in the playoff. With this, we conclude today's episode of Soccer Stories. Stay tuned to Striking Seconds. Until we meet again, hasta la vista.